There is something most people were never taught about the creation of humanity, not in school, not in church, not even in most spiritual spaces, and yet it lives quietly beneath every myth, every sacred text, every longing you've ever felt to remember who you truly are. According to ancient esoteric teachings, the first human was not flesh. The first human was consciousness itself, a divine pattern, a luminous archetype, what the mystics called the heavenly human, not a man or a woman, but a complete being, whole, unified, and radiant. In the earliest wisdom traditions, creation did not begin with a body formed from dust. It began with awareness emanating from Source. Humanity existed first as a spiritual blueprint, a living idea in the mind of the infinite. This original human contained all polarities within, masculine and feminine, light and shadow, potential and form. There was no separation then, no division, no fragmentation, only unity expressing itself through awareness. But something profound happened as consciousness descended into density, as creation unfolded through layers: spiritual, mental, emotional, physical. The human soul entered realms of increasing limitation. Each descent brought experience, but also forgetting. The more consciousness clothed itself in form, the more it began to identify with the outer shell instead of the inner flame. This is where the ancient stories of the fall truly point not to punishment, but to immersion, not to sin, but to forgetting. The serpent, so often misunderstood, was never simply an enemy. In esoteric symbolism, it represents knowledge, desire, motion, and the stirring of awareness within matter. The moment humanity began to desire experience through form, sensation, power, and identity, the soul stepped into duality, and with duality came struggle, longing, conflict, the sense of being separate from the source that once felt effortless. This is why so many people feel an ache they can't name, a homesickness with no memory, a sense that life is more than survival, more than achievement, more than roles and identities. That feeling is not weakness, it is remembrance stirring. The soul remembers that it once moved freely between worlds, that it once knew itself as both heaven and earth. Ancient teachings speak of multiple layers of the human being, not just body and mind, but spiritual dimensions that mirror the structure of the cosmos itself. Humanity was designed as a microcosm of the universe. What exists above exists within. What unfolds in the heavens echoes in the soul. This is not poetry, it is metaphysical architecture. You were designed to be a bridge between worlds. But when consciousness identifies only with the physical body, it forgets its higher faculties. Desire replaces discernment. Fear replaces knowing. The external world becomes the authority, and the inner voice grows quiet. This is the true exile spoken of in sacred texts, not banishment from a garden, but disconnection from inner truth. Yet here is the part that changes everything. The descent was never meant to be permanent. The same traditions that describe the fall also describe the return. The awakening does not come through rejecting the world, but through mastering it, through remembering who you are within form. The journey of the soul is cyclical descent. For experience, ascent for wisdom. The moment a human begins to question reality, to observe their desires instead of being ruled by them, something shifts, awareness turns inward. The serpent of unconscious desire becomes the staff of awakened knowledge. What once tempted now teaches, what once bound now initiates. This is the great alchemy, the transformation of instinct into insight and suffering into consciousness. This is why the ancient sages taught that salvation is not external. It is not granted by authority. It is not earned through obedience. It is realized through awakening. When illusion is seen for what it is, it loses its grip. When desire is understood, it no longer controls. When identity is questioned, essence is revealed. And here is the truth most people are not ready to hear. The adversary in these stories was never an outside force. It was ignorance. It was unconsciousness. And the liberator was never external either. It was awareness itself, awakening from within the soul. This is the path every mystic eventually walks, the path of remembering, of reclaiming the inner throne, of restoring the lost wholeness that existed before the split between spirit and matter. And this is why so many people feel called to ancient wisdom right now. The world is shifting. Old structures are dissolving. and the soul is being asked to step back into its original authority. If this is resonating with you, if something in your chest feels stirred, heavy, or suddenly clear, it's because you are remembering. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are in the middle of a return. This is the work I guide people through. Not surface-level spirituality, not bypassing, but deep soul remembrance. Understanding the architecture of consciousness, learning how to move through this world without being consumed by it, reclaiming the wisdom that was never taken from you, only forgotten. If you feel called to go deeper, to understand your soul's design, your patterns, your initiations, and your path of return, I invite you to work with me. You can book a one-on-one session, join my private community, or explore my book, The Spiral Codex, where this wisdom is mapped through the 22 gates of soul alchemy.